The time is 6 o'clock, and I'd like to say good evening. My name is Pam Christian. I'm the city clerk for the City of Richmond. On behalf of the city clerk's office, I'd like to welcome you and thank you all for attending our third community workshop to reestablish our voting districts within the City of Richmond. The city clerk's office would like to thank the offices of the mayor, the city manager, city attorney, information technology, KCRT television station, Community Services Department, and Shalise Tilton of National Demographics Corporation for support with this process. I'd also like to thank Ms. Raina Ortiz de Torrio for interpretation services. Shalise Tilton from National Demographics Corporation will lead this workshop. All presentations from previous public hearings and workshops are currently on the City Clerk's Redistricting Pre-2021 Census webpage at www.ci.richmond.ca.us/redistricting. We ask that you please kindly use the Zoom raise hand feature should you have questions. For those of you with questions that dialed in by phone, you will need to press the star and 9 key on your phone to raise your hand, and then press star and 6 to unmute when prompted. Spanish translation is available. And I'd like to turn it over to Raina right now to give Spanish instructions, and then also after Raina, then I'll turn the presentation over to Shalise. Thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos los presentes que estamos aquí. La oficina del Consejo Municipal de la ciudad de Richmond va a tener esta presentación en inglés. Si ustedes gustan escuchar esta presentación en español, los servicios de traducción los pueden acceder haciendo clic en la parte de abajo en su pantalla en donde tiene el globo terráqueo, un circulito que dice interpretación. Ustedes ahí pueden escoger el idioma español. Son los únicos servicios que se presentan en este momento. Y ustedes me escucharán a mí hablar en español. Si alguien desea hacer alguna pregunta, yo también puedo traducir sus preguntas en inglés. Y las personas que quieran hacer preguntas pueden hacerlo apretando el botón que dice levantar la mano, y con eso ellos sabrán que usted quiere hacer preguntas. Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to allow Reina the opportunity to get into the Spanish channel, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, could I have a verbal confirmation that you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I see in the participants we have some familiar faces, so excited about that. And I hope that the new people learn something tonight to help you get involved with the redistricting process. What you're seeing on the screen is actually the existing districts that were adopted, I believe it's just in 2020. So the first of 2020. So if this process sounds familiar to you, it should, because it wasn't that long ago that the districts were created. But those districts were created based on 2010 census geography and census numbers. And so now we have new 2020 census numbers and census geography. The law the process is driven or guided by the Fair Maps Act that requires a specific amount of hearings take place before adoption. 2 of those hearings have already been held. Those were held in July and in September to receive input from the public on the communities of interest in the districts. No maps were presented at those hearings. The purpose of those hearings was to hear from the public on how they want the communities drawn, and different communities of interest to respect during the map drawing process. This is our 3rd public workshop, and the website has been, and we're seeing we're getting activity on the website with people using tools and guiding through the website to learn about the process. The council will have its first draft map hearing on January 18th to consider draft maps, and then follow up on February 1st with selection of the map. Map adoption must be by law by April 17th. We must have equal population in the districts. That's a federal law. We also can't draw maps in a way that would dilute the voting strength of protected class groups, and no racial gerrymandering, meaning that lines cannot be drawn with race being the only or predominant factor. The California Fair Maps Act in this center column here sets out criteria that must be followed by state law, and these are actually in order of priority. The first being geographically contiguous, second being undivided neighborhoods and communities of interest. That's where we're relying on the public to hear what those communities of interest are. Easily identifiable boundaries is typically highways, waterways, ways that you can describe verbally your district, and then compactness, meaning we don't bypass a group of people to get to a more distant group of people. We cannot draw maps that favor or discriminate against a political party. Once we've met columns 1 and 2, we can also look at other traditional principles, such as minimizing the number of voters that are shifted to different election years, and considering voters' choices and continuity of office. That translates to, if we're able to draw lines, meeting all the other criteria, that avoids pairing incumbents so that the voters have a choice of who they want, who has earned re-election and who hasn't, then we'll present that option. We can slightly underpopulate a district if we know there's going to be future growth. But when we're talking equal population by federal law, it's presumptively constitutional to have no more than a 10% deviation between the least populated district and the greatest populated district. So you can slightly underpopulate, but only a few percentage points. And preserving the core of existing districts is also a consideration that is optional, not mandated. When we look to draw maps, one of the communities of interest that is often considered is the Latino citizen voting age population. These are US citizens who are 18 years of age and eligible to vote. We particularly see concentrations between San Pablo and I-580. Our Asian American communities are concentrated around the Country Club and Hilltop Village in the north, and in the east in El Sobrante, and along the the border with El Cerrito in the south. Our African American citizen voting age population, particularly concentrated in Hilltop, in the Iron Triangle, and between Ohio and I-580. So we're looking from the community. We want to know, what is your neighborhood? What are those boundaries of those neighborhoods? If you can describe them with physical features, that will help us in drawing draft maps that respect what you believe best reflects your communities. Some questions to ask when you're wanting to define communities. What defines it? What shared social or economic interests do you have with the other neighborhoods? What's the story of your neighborhood? And then another thing to consider is, would that community benefit from being included within a single district for purposes of its effective and fair representation? Or there are some cases where communities of interest may benefit from having multiple representatives. The law defines a community of interest as a population that shares common social or economic interests that should be included within a single district for purposes of its fair and effective representation. Tools are available to assist in the map drawing process. Here's a listing of the tools that are available. I'm going to run very quickly, just show you the slides because I actually want to jump over to the website and show you how to access these tools through the website. Here's just a snapshot of the adopted map. Each of the maps that will be are submitted will be professionally produced by NDC so that all of the maps will be treated on equal footing. They'll be giving a map number. And we find it doesn't really matter who submitted the maps speak for themselves. So when the council is analyzing the maps, it really doesn't matter who drew it, because the districts and the way they're drawn tell their own story. However, if you are submitting a map, it's very helpful if you send a narrative or a summary or an email of why you drew the map. And a couple of those tools have opportunities for you to fill in a blank and write why you drew the map, or to simply send an email. There is a map review tool that will be useful. Once maps are produced, they'll be listed on here. This map is also helpful when you're doing the paper tools. You can zoom in closely and see street names. You can see the street names of where all these districts come together. We have, if you're not comfortable with the computer, we do have a paper kit so that you can just draw the districts based on the paper kits, and we give you the population counts for the kits. If you don't want to do the math yourself and you are using a paper kit and you know Excel, you can use the supplemental tool that allows you, it is a spreadsheet that allows you to enter the population ID numbers for each of the districts that you've drawn, and it will do the math for you. And then we have Dave's Redistricting App. It's widely popular app that allows you to draw districts using a paintbrush feature. And then we have the more sophisticated online mapping tool that's also available. I'm going to, before we get into the public comment and hearing from you on your neighborhoods and your boundaries, I want to see if I can switch over to the website and show you how to access these tools. Bear with me, and let's see how successful I am at this. Okay, it'll take me just a second here. Okay, can you let me know if you're seeing the website on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. So the website for redistricting is located on the city's website at ci.richmond.ca.us. It is in the city clerk's office department under redistricting pre-2021 census. I found that if you put in City of Richmond redistricting, it generally gets you here. So if you have difficulty, you can go to the city clerk's office page, department, and then get to the website. The latest news will be first tonight. Tonight's workshop is listed first on the screen here. There's also some information about the upcoming election. Here's the interactive review mapping tool. So you can find your current district. If you're wondering where you live now, there's an interactive mapping tool that will show you which district you're in now if you're curious. Now we get to the redistricting process and the tools. The first part of the website just gives you general information. Second gives you schedule of when the next meetings are coming up. Once draft maps are produced, they'll be listed here. And then and then there's contact if you have questions, and then draw a map is what we want to get to. So as you scroll down here, you can see there are the actual tools available are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 on here. And the first one is the easiest, the paper map tool. Just going to go ahead and just bring that up for you on the screen. Make it just a little bit bigger, hopefully, so you can see it. You can see that the population counts are included in each of the areas. Now, just a note about the census. The census was very much delayed, and we got it, actually the adjusted numbers in very late September, October, and then it took several weeks for us to synthesize it. This public participation kit is still in the process. It still has the estimated numbers. So I think we'll have Ms. Christian put a note saying, this is in the process of being updated with the official tools. But if you want to get started now drawing, these numbers will be close, but then just watch for an update. Some of these numbers will change because the census was so delayed. We ran our estimates of what we thought the numbers would be, and you want to end up using the official, and we'll make sure we get that to you. Then we have, you have, as I mentioned, an Excel spreadsheet that will help you to put the numbers in once you've drawn your map. If you're interested in using that, you'll want to bring up the map that has, instead of population counts in each of those areas, it has them numbered consecutively, 1 through, I think our numbers get into the high 70s, 1 through 70. And then you open up the spreadsheet, you draw your map on here, open up the spreadsheet. Let's see. And you can make your assignments here. So if say that when you've drawn your maps and it just so happened that maybe those population units that were numbered 1 through 15 were in your District 3, you would just assign it to District 3. You notice that you have to enable editing before you can start. And I don't know, I know it's very small on your screen, but I'm just entering District 3. Maybe that's bigger for you. And actually, as you're doing it, you should be able to see it grow. District 3, you can see I have 8,000 more to go. Just right up here, it says District 3. Can you see my cursor where I'm circling? To give you an idea, you would never really want to just do this without looking at the map where these population units are. I'm just giving you an idea. And then say, just so happened that you made a perfect worksheet, not a perfect one, but, and then the next consecutive ones were in District 4. I just want to show you for purpose of, because I want to show you what the results would look like. I'm just filling in these numbers randomly. You click on the tab at the bottom, takes you to your results. Again, I only did 2 districts. I did District 3 and 4, but it's showing me what the total population was for those 2 districts, how far off I am from the ideal population. I hop over here, it will show me the percentage. So I'm 3, I did pretty good. 4, I'm at 9.4. If I were to add these 2 numbers together, 1.47 and 9.44, I'm over 10. So that tells me that I'm going to have to rework this because I want the total of my least populated and the total of my greatest populated to be under 10. So So you would want to make sure that when you're doing that, and that's one reason why using the Excel spreadsheet is good. You see your Hispanic population. This is just, again, your citizen voting age population. Those are 18 years of age and older. You can see the percentages in each of the districts. For your, here's Hispanic, and then your African American and your Asian American. And that is the Excel spreadsheet. And if you want, you can just submit the spreadsheet. You don't even have to submit the map. We can draw your map. Now let's get to the one that I think most everyone will be using. Some of you may have used District R when it was up. District Dave's has replaced District R. District R was using the population estimates. If you drew a map in District R, we will still draw it, but we would encourage you, if you want to make sure you have a population balanced map, and that's important to you, make sure that we would encourage you to go into Dave's and redraw it. District R is, even if you've drawn the map and when we get the official data for District R, it still will not update your map for you. So, so there is going to have to be some redraw for those who submitted to District R, but it is in the gallery and you can view those maps that were submitted in District R here. The important thing with Dave's Redistricting App, Dave's Redistricting App, you're going to like it even better than District R, but you do need to read the user guide. There's a couple step process for you to begin using. And the first one is to sign up. So read the guide and then you'll need to sign up, get an account. The reason why you want the account is because it keeps track of your maps, which is much better than what District R did. So it allows you to start on a map and go back and visit and change and change and change. So there's two parts to District in Dave's. There's a couple of areas in Dave's Redistricting App. One is your maps. Those are the ones that you're working on, and ones that are published maps. After you've read the instructions, after you've signed up to get an account, this link will take you directly to the the maps that have been published for City of Richmond. I already have it open. You'll see something like this. And then you'll see in the left-hand corner, these are the published maps. You want to use this as a template to begin drawing your map, but it won't allow you to change a published map. When other people draw maps, they'll be listed here. It will allow you, however, to duplicate a map so that you can begin drawing. So you published maps, you've looked up City of Richmond, or you've looked up Richmond, CA. We're going to encourage everyone to put everyone must put Richmond, CA in their title. You could just put Richmond, but there are a lot of Richmonds in the country. So I'm sure the city often runs into. So Richmond, CA will certainly list it here. That's the only way that we're going to be able to find your map. So you'll after you're through drawing, you'll publish it here. Anyone can open your map, can take your map, duplicate it, and create a new map. Right now, I'm going to take this published template. I'm going to duplicate it. It's going to take a while to show up. Just be patient. This is listing all of my maps here. That's why it's showing another city. And you'll see the copy of Richmond is here. So I'm going to click on it and go into edit. You'll have the opportunity to rename this map. I have Zoom going right now, and I have a lot of the website and other mapping tools open, so it's going to take a minute. The thing with Dave's Redistricting App is it's being used all over the United States for everyone who is redistricting, so just be patient. It will show up. I just hit the refresh key because I felt like it's taking too long. I just had it up too. There we have it. So when you're ready to start drawing your map, you can see that the outline of the city. And then you'll see precincts are these darker outlines. I want to change to block. And you can begin to draw your districts. 1 second here. So say we wanted to start drawing our District 4. I'm going to click on District 4 and select by block. And I'll begin to draw in District 4. Or whatever you want District 4 to be. Now, if that's too slow for you, you can go by a bigger set of blocks. Now I've selected precincts. That's going to get me a bit quicker. And there are the details on the side over here that's going to give us the total population, the citizen voting age population. On this left-hand side is telling me the population of where I am and then the deviation. So right now I'm at 9,619. I need 6,577 more. And so I can just keep selecting. Again, read the instructions. They're not lengthy, but they will be very helpful. You can see why El Sobrante has to hop over because right now I'm picking up large swaths of people because I'm going by precinct. And then when you're ready to start drawing your next district, then you can do the same thing. Just click on it and draw your next district. Once you're done again, you can change it. You can click up here, change it. You can write in a description and you can submit. I'm not going to submit this map because I don't want it to be in the consideration, but you can submit. When you're all done, you go back to your maps and it remains in my map over here, but it's not published. So in the instructions, it will tell you when you're ready, that's when you publish it. And that's when everyone will be able to see it when they're in the published maps. Going back to published maps, search for Richmond, CA. I didn't publish it, but, and that it's as simple as that. So that's Dave's redistricting app and read the instructions. They're simple instructions, but you do need to have that understanding. And the most important thing, publish it, write your name. And then we're asking that you also send an email in letting us know that it's been published. You send it to City Clerk Department at ci.richmond.ca.us, notifying us that your plan is published and include your plan name. That will help us as well. Now we'll go down to the most powerful tool, which is the Keller poll Palmtitude Online. It's a bit more complicated. There's a one-time requirement to log in. They'll send you an email to verify, but once you've done that, you're in. Just like Dave's Redistricting app, you have a page that has My Plans. So once you start drawing, there will be plans that are listed here. or you can start a new plan and use the template. You give it a name. This particular template has the existing districts, and it shows how the existing districts are population balanced. So you can see that District 5 grew since 2010 and is overpopulated. District 4 is underpopulated and will need to pick up more population. The others are pretty close, but unfortunately, it's hard to get from 4. You can't just swap between 4 and 5 because you're going to have to go through a couple districts. So there's going to be some line changes that we can see. But the way the tools work is, say that I did want to add to District 4. So my target's going to be District 4. And I'm going to take from all sources. I do want to get closer. I'm going to click on this plus button. There is a video tutorial. There's also a written tutorial on how to use this map, how to use this particular feature. Let's say I wanted to add to 4. I click my selection, which is going to select by block. And I can just select block at a time. You see that I pointed in one little tiny spot and all of that lit up. It's because census blocks are funny animals. This Federal Census Bureau draws them in strange shapes, and we must follow the geography of the census that the census has assigned. In the right-hand corner here, I hope you can see it. It's telling me it's telling me how many people I just moved and what now the new deviation would be. So with adding that section right here, it changes my new deviation to almost perfect. It's just short by 15 people. So say I like that change. That's going to work. I'm going to do the check mark over here. There's also this districts over here. You can see where now all the districts are lining up. So now we have District 1 that has a 2% deviation, District 1 has a 0.2 deviation. District 4 has a near perfect 0.1 deviation. So 1 and 2 districts are looking pretty good. We still, have a higher. This is assuming that you like the existing districts, and you're satisfied with that. If you hit the return key, it'll get you back to your map, so it looks normal. If you take off the target, it'll get rid of that green. I'm going to just close this up. So District 2 is now under, District 5 is over, so possibly there's some opportunity to switch from District 5 to 2. I use the hand feature to kind of reposition my map. I use this plus feature to draw a square around where I want to see. And then if you wanted to have your target be 2, to add more to 2, change that to 2. If you wanted to take from District 5, because District 5 is over, you could change that to 5. And then the difficult thing is there's probably not going to be people in a lot of these areas, so it's going to grow a bit. Click on my selection pointer, will get me census blocks. That jumping likely won't happen with your screen. It's just that there's a lot. My computer's being over taxed right now. You see the deviation is showing me what the changes are. So instead of 8.5, now I'm at 7.3, still have a ways to go. If you wanted to, instead of using the pointer, you could use this square feature and click where you want to start, click where you want to make a change, click where you want to make a change, or where you want to change direction, or rather, and then double click to finish. You can see it touched a lot of census blocks that were way too many. So let's just X that out. It's probably best to just go. I just did the X feature over there. It's probably best to just use the pointer for this feature, because it tells me that we have some strange looking census blocks here. And you just keep going until you get the map how you want it. The thing you have to remember is it has to be contiguous. So that's why I know these aren't populated over here, but I'm getting as close. I have to be contiguous to 5. And now I can see that I have, well, it's not pretty. I have 5 at a 2.7 deviation and 2 at a 1.5. So let's say I like that. I can't have these stragglers in the middle though. It's a funny looking shaped arm right there. But if I do control and click there, it'll remove that. But you can see it's just an odd shaped district. Oh, maybe not too bad. Oh, maybe that looks better. And we're still at 3.5 deviation, so that's pretty good. And that little guy. Okay, let's say we like that. And then we can open up the districts, see how we are. And now we are in population balance. If you want, you can get rid of all of the districts and start from scratch. That's a possibility too. What you would do is just highlight the entire map and move it all to your target would be unassigned. If you've made a mistake and you have something in a district, you can move it to unassigned or move it to another district. And that is the quick rundown of Maptitude. Once you're ready to, when it's done, you can go into the plan integrity. You can find any unassigned areas. And unfortunately, I have a few unassigned areas that we're going to have to go and clean up. But what you do when you're looking for unassigned areas, you ignore the large areas. You go to the small ones and pick those areas. I sent in a request to fix because actually this 10 square miles is water area that's showing as unassigned. So we will have that fixed. There was a change in the geography from the 2020 census to the 2010 that has caused these few little glitches. That's so there's a work order to get that fixed. And look at this unassigned area. It brings you right to it. You can decide where you want to put it. And you tell it, okay, I want it to go into 4. Check and check. Okay. The other thing, once you're done, you can also find non-contiguous areas. There's always going to be, let's see, let's go to this non-contiguous area. Again, we'll zoom out. Or it zooms you a little too closely. So I hit on the reduce so I can see really where we are on the map here. Oh, this is the, let's see, it's the Richmond ballpark. So this we would assign to area here. Let's see. To 4. Actually, that may be an unincorporated area. I think that's correct. So that you can't do anything about. Once you're done doing your plan integrity, then let's fix this one. Get back to our normal view, close this up. I want to show you a trick though. This is something you'll appreciate. It's kind of hard to see a map when it's not colored in. So you can go to this district layers, this display on the left, because you want to change the display to show colors, and you want to show colors of the districts. So you pick the first one, which is district ID, and then the colors will show up, and it makes it just a little bit easier to be able to see where these different district lines are. And then once you're done, you would share your plan, and that submits it to, you can either submit it, you have a couple of things you can do. You can submit it to the administrators. That's what you want to do. If it's, if you want us to produce it, if you want to just share it with other people without maybe submitting it yet, so others can kind of take your map, make their changes, you can just share it to all users, or you can email the plan. And that concludes the presentation on the maps. I'm happy to answer any questions. I see we have Naomi Williams who wants to speak. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to speak. And Naomi, you should be able to speak at this time.
Okay, I'm in District 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I heard you say District 5 is over and District 3 was under. Was that correct?
Let's see here. District, that's correct.
Okay, why did you jump over District 3 to go to District 1, or was that 2?
It was
And that-
2, and there's no reason for that.
Okay,
It
so
was
why
just a
couldn't you
demo to
put
show
this?
you.
Because in my district, District 3, a neighborhood completely was separated and put in District 5.
Oh, perfect. Then you could request that be moved from 5 to 3.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And if you're
So-
not comfortable with drawing the map, you could submit that written comment and outline the
No, I just want to be
neighborhood that you're
sure
interested in.
that that's what I thought you said. All districts would not be divided. I mean,
That's the
neighborhoods
goal.
would not be divided, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So you
And-
divided, I mean, I'm worried about District 3 because that's the one I live in. And District 5 has half of a neighborhood in that district. Now, the way we made it up, I think we have a representative. Her name is Madeline Law. And I believe she's on here.
Yeah, she's requested to speak too. So,
Oh, okay. So I just want to make sure you jumped over 3 to get to 2.
for no reason, I was just it was just a random demo, but yeah, if you have an area, that'd be a good place to make that change.
Okay, all right. I'll let her talk because she's over it.
Okay, all right. And then we have, the next speaker is Lisa Johnson, followed by a user who is identified as MacBook Pro. So we're gonna go ahead and allow Lisa Johnson to speak.
Oh, hi, good evening and thanks. I had two primary questions. The first one was the DRA tool always on here? I don't remember seeing that like a few months ago. Was it always on here?
No,
Okay.
no, it's new within the last few weeks. And the reason we made the decision to put it on there is because people, one, were requesting it from all of our jurisdictions. And secondly, Dave's redistricting app was slow to get the official data. So this has the official data.
So if you make one in District R, you want it to be redone using the DRA 2020?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, if people don't get it, and what's happening in other jurisdictions is we're drawing them up, but they're not population balanced. And so it tells a story of what the goal is of what you're wanting, but it's not an adoptable map.
Okay.
And so it's harder to get to that place for your map to be adopted.
Okay.
It'll still be drawn up, but it'll just be indicating as being, in some jurisdictions, the population is really off, and so it's not useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then my second question is really the current map that we have really screwed up neighborhoods. And so I don't know if there's a lawyer on the call, but my primary question really pertains to if we wanted to start from scratch and draw our districts, that would have implications on who already ran in certain districts and who wasn't allowed to run in 2020, and still making them eligible to run in 2022. So can all 6 districts come up for re-election like they did in the school board for West Contra Costa Unified School District? That's pretty much my legal question.
And no, they can't, unless it's part of a settlement for a lawsuit. And it's only happened on a very rare occasion. So no. And no one's term can be cut short.
So if they voluntarily wanted to do right by the community and draw the right maps, can council members agree to that?
They cannot agree to have their term cut short. Even if they wanted to resign in 2 years early, that seat would still be open for someone to fill the remainder of their term. They would have to take a court order to change that.
Okay. Thank you.
And then we have MacBook Pro, followed by Madeline Law.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, I have 2 questions. Actually, the last time you had a presentation, you had 3 people during the day and 6 people during the evening. And I don't know how many people are on this call right now, but is that considered doing your due diligence? Number 1. And number 2, once a map is submitted, it cannot be deleted or edited. Is that correct?
Correct. What we've seen others do is draw a new map, and in the title says replaces the other map that they submitted, or they've sent an email saying, please withdraw a map.
And so do you consider having a meeting with 3 people on day shift and 6 in the evening, doing your due diligence? And
Well,
I don't know how many people are on this call right now.
Yeah, we have 12 attendees on this call, and we're recording as we did record the others. So those who want to view it can view it at their convenience, and others just simply follow the website to participate.
Thank you.
Next, we have Madeline Law.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, my question is similar to Naomi's. I am the neighborhood that was split up.
Oh, okay.
So half of my neighborhood is in district, not half, a third of my neighborhood is in District 5, and the remainder is in District 3.
Mhm.
So in redesigning the neighborhood, and you said District 5 is overpopulated.
Uh-huh.
I would think, and because it's, South Side, and that's what we're interested in. And when I say we, South Side,
Mhm.
is interested in reuniting that neighborhood. So in designing a new map, we would like to be all inclusive of those neighborhoods that are on the South Side. And it's like 5 neighborhoods that would incorporate. So if the map is designed so that those neighborhoods are incorporated, we are not overpopulated, we have like commonalities in terms of income, ethnicity, and the community interest. What is the possibility of that occurring? Not necessarily displacing the current council person, but it would remove that split that we're experiencing right now. What is the possibility of that occurring?
It's ultimately a council decision, but I can tell you what is useful and effective is sending in your comments stating the specifics, what that neighborhood, describe those boundaries of that neighborhood, and specifically requesting that it be in, and most effective is submitting a map that does that, but then also submit your comments and attend the meetings and request that. I think those are effective ways at getting your message so that when the council makes the decision, you've been heard.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. And let's see, I think that we've heard from all attendees. I see that both Lisa Johnson and Mac the Crow still have their hands raised. Is there a follow-up questions or?
Those are new.
Okay. We have someone who hasn't had the opportunity to speak, Lori Hart. Let's go ahead and take Lori.
Good evening.
Mhm.
I have a question. I'm with the Portchester Village Neighborhood Council. And to my understanding, did I hear you say that District 5 was shorted, was under, because am I correct in understanding that you're trying to move Portchester from District 2 to District 5?
No. The demo I showed was just a demo of just random showing you how to use the tool without any thought to what was being moved. But presently District 5 is overpopulated, so it will lose some area. District 3 is underpopulated.
And where is District 2 at as far as population?
District 2 is at 2.78, just slightly over.
Interesting. Okay.
Is
that taking into question?
Let me share this screen. Does that help you? You can see the District 5 is 8.5% over. District 2 is 2.78 over. District 3 is negative 3.32.
Okay. With the census, I don't know how often this is taken for the district. Are they taking into consideration that part of, I guess, the Country Club Vista is getting ready to have more houses up in there?
We have to use the census data that we're given, but we can slightly underpopulated district if you know it's going to grow, but it still has to be under that under the total 10% deviation. Okay.
This was, so I read the blurb here that said, why does redistricting matter to me? And it says redistricting determines which neighborhoods and communities are grouped together into a district for purposes of electing a council member. So I sincerely hope this really isn't gerrymandering and you guys are picking and choosing, trying to get councilmen elected, because that's what it's saying. I'm a little bit concerned that we're redistricting to elect. That's what it said on your website, determines which neighborhoods and communities are grouped together into a district for purposes of electing a council member.
Yes. What's that saying? If you, for example, live in District 3, then you will only be voting on people who live in District 3. And someone has to run from District 3 to be on the council.
No, I get that, but it also says to me, or it has the it implies that we can be moving people to better align a district. And so in splitting up and listening to Naomi and them saying that their council or their neighborhood is being split up, it just begs the question to me, why? And you talked about all the undivided neighborhoods and the reasons and the compacts, not to bypass one group of people to get a more distant group of people. I really hope that all of that comes into consideration as you guys are building that map. Thank you very much.
Okay, and then Lisa Johnson, followed by MacBook Pro, and then I think we're getting close to our hour. So
I'm in.
Lisa Johnson.
Sorry, can you hear me
Okay.
now? I'm in the DRA 2020 tool, and I'm trying to activate the overlays, and I don't see the district lines coming up at all. Like, I've clicked on it multiple times, and I can't get it to show like the boundaries between districts 2 and 5, for example, or districts 3 and 1. I can click the precincts on and off in the background map, but I cannot do district lines. Is that a known bug?
That's a known feature. It would actually, the existing district lines would have to be drawn in as a published map, and that has not been done. So instead of having just a blank template, there would be one that has current districts if you wanted to start from the current districts. But it has to be manually drawn in.
So nobody's made that map for us to start from? Not
yet. Just to give you a little heads up in the redistricting world, there are a number of jurisdictions and and all the counties have to have their maps done by December 15th. So they are taking priority until December 15th. So these that particular, to draw current districts for Richmond will probably not come until late December, but so if I understand correctly, if we come back at the beginning of January and we want to load the published maps, there'll be one there with the districts in it. We can, I can see about getting that done. I can just tell you it's going to be probably a low priority right at this moment. All right, and then that should not discourage you from drawing maps. All right, and then my last question is I really find it extremely at odds with what the neighborhoods want. So we can go in and we can draw a map from start where we connect our neighborhoods. But to me, if you're saying that even if a council member chooses not to run again in 2022 with a new district map, that there's no way we can legally draw a map of best neighborhoods where we keep the South Side together, we keep the Shoreline together, we keep Hilltop together, because by doing so, you're going to prevent somebody from running
who didn't have a chance in 2020. And so that to me seems like you're violating section 2 because you're not giving somebody the ability to run when we want a better map. And then you're also saying that a council member will basically can only choose themselves versus choosing the best map.
And that's the nature of redistricting. So you could draw a completely new map. It will take a couple of election cycles for it to be to have a representative in each of the districts, if indeed the map is drawn that pairs 2 or 3 in one district. But that's an expectation, and that is part of the process. So say that you drew, let's just say you drew all 6 council members in one district. Then there would be 5 districts without representatives until that election cycle came up for all those districts. So in 2022, there'll be 3 that are up. 3 of the districts would have representation, and 3 of the other districts wouldn't have representation until 2024. That's the nature of redistricting. So it's not a legal requirement at all that you provide a district for each of the council members. There's an expectation that there could be pairing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then our last speaker is MacBook Pro.
Yeah, it almost sounds like we're bound by this map that we have today. But I also wanted to ask you, did you guys factor in the prison population that is coming home and the homeless population into the data? And because they vote. And then also, are you willing to come to a neighborhood council meeting through Zoom possibly and speak about this?
Yeah, I'll defer to Ms. Christian for the public outreach workshops. But I can tell you that all of the census numbers are prisoner adjusted to reassign state prisoners to their home addresses. And then the census it counts people, it doesn't count their housing status. So homeless individuals are counted in the census data, but we're not provided what their housing status is.
So all information is in and it's final?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and that concludes our presentation. I encourage you to try the maps, use the maps, play around with the tools, and the best way to have your voice heard and your map heard and your ideas heard is submit a map, submit a map, submit a map. That tells the best story. And I'll turn it back over to the city clerk.
Thank you, Shalice, for your presentation. And then once again, I'd like to thank all the participants in the workshop. And the next 2 required public hearings, as Shalice said, regarding redistricting are scheduled for Tuesday, January 18th, and then February 1st of 2020. The city council meetings will be at 7 p.m. The hearings are scheduled for 7 p.m. The meetings will start at 6:30, but we will stop whatever is going on within the city council meetings, and the hearings will start at 7 p.m. Let's see, the public agendas for those meetings will have information on how to participate. And we will have Spanish interpretation. And if there are any other languages that need interpretation, please let the city clerk's office know as soon as possible. And be sure to visit the city clerk's redistricting page for updates on the redistricting process and mapping tools. I'll put that information inside the chat box. And as far as the question in regards to outreach and scheduling another workshop, that request needs to come through the city clerk's office. We will try to work with NBC to see what their schedule is like. And like Shalice was saying, that there are other jurisdictions, there are jurisdictions all over California that are redistricting, and NDC is a very popular company that's handling a lot of these redistricting processes. And so we will see what they have available. And just for your information, we did invite the neighborhood councils to this workshop. And as you can see, we only had 12 people attend. We've done a lot of outreach. So it's really up to the community. Please, put the word out and try to get other people involved with this process. And Shalice, you had something else you wanted to say? Or no?
No, I was trying to fix my
okay.
hearing.
All right, and thank you very much. Good night, everyone.